Answers, scripturally based answers for life's questions. A ministry of Multi-Nation Missions Foundation, Abbotsford, British Columbia, Canada.
Marriage, divorce, living together. We get a lot of questions about marriage, divorce, and living together without marriage. I don't want to do a really long answer here, for there is much teaching in the scriptures on these things. But I can give some important things to consider. What is marriage? Marriage is an official relationship based upon three main things. Number one, love. Love is partially a decision. We choose to love someone. It is also partially a process. We develop a love relationship as we spend time together. But the intimate love that binds a man and a woman is also an attraction that they feel toward each other. I believe all three of these aspects of love are important in a good marriage. But it surely needs to be rooted in a love attraction that the couple has for each other. We see this in Jacob and Rachel in the Bible. There was an instant love attraction between them that was never challenged by any other relationship they had. People often separate, divorce, or just start living very separated lives while still living in the same marriage. Under such circumstances, we must remember that love is not just an attraction, but also a choice and something that develops and stays good as people spend time with each other. Also, marriage is not just a love relationship. There is much more to marriage than love. Number two, a commitment. Matthew 19, 3-6 says, Pharisees came up to him and tested him by asking, "Is it lawful to divorce one's wife for any cause?" He answered, "Have you not read that he who created them from the beginning made them male and female, and said, 'Therefore a man shall leave his father and his mother and hold fast to his wife, and the two shall become one flesh. So they are no longer two, but one flesh. What therefore God has joined together, let not man separate.'" A commitment is something that carries a person through all obstacles. When the situation, the feelings, or the circumstances change, the commitment does not. There are times when the marriage couples feel that they do not love each other anymore, or they are disappointed with each other. In such times, people must remember that marriage is a commitment, and that commitment is for life. It is a covenant with each other before God. Number three, it's a responsibility or responsibilities. When a man and a woman enter into a marriage, there are immediate responsibilities placed upon them that each of them needs to fulfill. Let's consider a couple of these responsibilities to understand the idea. One of these responsibilities is the sexual needs for their partner. 1 Corinthians 7, 2-5 says, "But because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife and each woman her own husband. The husband should give to his wife her conjugal rights, and likewise the wife to her husband. For the wife does not have authority over her own body, but the husband does. Likewise, the husband does not have authority over his own body, but the wife does. Do not deprive one another, except perhaps by agreement for a limited time, that you may devote yourselves to prayer. But then come together again, so that Satan may not tempt you because of your lack of self-control." It is the responsibility of each partner in the marriage to meet the sexual needs of the other one. We must remember that it is not the responsibility to satisfy one another, for only in Jesus will a person ever find satisfaction for any of the appetites a person has. But the needs must be met. A person may eat what is sufficient to live and work, but not feel like that he is satisfied by it. It is the same with sexual needs. They are there, and marriage must meet the need, but satisfaction must not be required. That comes from Jesus Christ. There are many other needs people have. A woman has a great need for security. This is something a husband must provide for her. Likewise, she must find the ultimate satisfaction for it in Jesus Christ. But the husband is responsible to meet that need. The husband needs respect for him to do what God requires of him. And she must meet that need. These are just a couple of many examples. There are also responsibilities from them together, like producing children and training them in the ways of the Lord. What about divorce? After what Jesus said about marriage in Matthew 19, the Pharisees asked him about divorce. This is what he said, Matthew 19, 17-9. They said to him, "Why then did Moses command one to give a certificate of divorce and to send her away?" He said to them, "Because of your hardness of heart, Moses allowed you to divorce your wives, but from the beginning it was not so. I say to you, whoever divorces his wife except for sexual immorality and marries another commits adultery." He gives one and only one exception: sexual immorality or fornication. What does that mean? It means that there is never a time that a person can free himself to divorce by his own actions, by his own desires or decisions. She is bound to the marriage for life without a way out. But when one party in the marriage goes into fornication, feeding the sexual needs in an animal-like way with another person, or in ways that are selfish and unclean, then the other person in the marriage has been given the liberty to move on. This does not mean every act or suspicion gives that liberty. But once one person has turned their back on completely on the marriage and all hope for the marriage has been lost, the exception for remarriage is given. People often want to get divorced and move on to another relationship because they want a change. They have developed an attraction for another person. They feel unsatisfied in the relationship, or they think they could do better. But all such reasons are completely forbidden. What about living together without marriage? A marriage-like relationship without the commitment and responsibilities that marriage requires is only sinful and will produce rebellion, especially in the children. People often do this because they want to first try to see if it works. Or they just want to leave the door open if ever they can have a better option. It is carnal and selfish. 1 Corinthians 7:1-2 says, "Now concerning the matters about which you wrote, it is good for a man not to have sexual relationships with a woman, but because of the temptation to sexual immorality, each man should have his own wife, and each woman her own husband." There are people that live together, but have not had any ceremony to declare the relationship to be married. They may wonder why they should. It is very much for a testimony's sake. It declares to others that one cares about the blessings that are extended by God to those entering a marriage relationship, and that one is committed and can be held responsible. There are many privileges that come with the covenant in marriage, and to take them without the commitment is dishonoring to God and brings disgrace to the human race. If you're married, please seek to honor God in it. If you're not, please seek to do it His way. You will not regret it. If it may be that you do not know Jesus Christ is your personal Savior and you've been seeking to do it without His help and hope, please read the following on how you can know Him and have salvation. He gives it freely. Please click the links below and there will be some information for you that will teach you on how to receive Jesus Christ. And then He will help you with your marriage, with your relationship, and doing it right. May God bless you. If you have any more questions, please send us another message and we will send you more information, more help, trying to help you with your relationship with God, with your relationship with your people. And may God help you and bless you. I want to thank you for listening to this answer. I hope it answered your question. If you have another question, please send us another message and we will send the answer to you. To hear more teaching on salvation and other Bible-based topics, please go to our online pages and sites. Thank you very much, and may God bless you.